Hey there, guys, and welcome back to Alex Invests. For those of you who don't know, I'm Alex. I'm a business owner with a degree in economics, and I've been investing since I'm 18 years old. Markets are pretty green today, as we can see, but my portfolio specifically are extra green because I'm very heavy in the EV space as well as the hydrogen space, and those stocks lately have just been absolutely exploding. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today is fuel cell energy. Before we get into it here, I just wanted to say, please, if you like the video, like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out, and it helps me create more content for you guys in the future. So let's talk about fuel cell energy. The other day in my other video on Plug Power, I did mention that I'm also invested in fuel cell and Bloom Energy. These are two other big hydrogen stocks that I see going massive moving forward. What's crazy is this big run up that we've seen in fuel cell energy in the past week here. It's gone up over 100%. So I wish I brought out a video earlier for you guys so I could have given you some better advice on this to invest in it earlier. So fuel cell energy, as the name suggests, is basically a hydrogen fuel cell company that delivers hydrogen fuel cell systems and is a way that they produce clean energy in the sector. They are configured for the supply, recovery, and storage of energy, and it's all 100% clean. They say and claim that it's the cleanest energy that's available today. So what's crazy about fuel cell energy and their massive 130+% run up they've had is that there really hasn't been much news on fuel cell energy lately. The latest pretty much news that we had from them was on September 29th, where they announced that they won multiple awards, or basically bids, to provide clean energy to the Northeast power grid. And they are basically have four of their 2.8 megawatts fuel cell systems that they're going to install in Connecticut. And that was the latest news. And other than that, this big run up in the last week really doesn't make much sense as far as that's concerned. So before we get into the chart for FCEL and a couple other things, I just wanted to share with you guys the Q3 2020 financial results that they came out with on September 10th, actually. So again, quite a while ago. So first I wanted to show you guys the total revenue breakdown for 2019, which in total they had $60.8 million in revenue, right? Service and licensing was 44% of their revenue. Advanced technologies, 32%. Generation was 23%, and that's their hydrogen generation, right, from their plants. And then the products that they sold, which is their actual fuel cell systems that they sell, was only 1% of their business, which I see this number growing a lot, obviously. We want to see this grow to around 32%-ish as well. So we can see much more growth in their business. And obviously, with product increase, their power generation also increases. That's the first thing. And then the other thing, so here, this is basically their fuel cell system right here that generates power, clean energy, right? So I just wanted to show you guys a picture of that so you actually get an idea of what it looks like. So let's move down here for a second. So they had revenue of 18.7 million compared to 22.7 million in Q3 2019. So they've actually gone down in revenue in Q3 here. And although that's not really what you want to see, it does make sense because they give an explanation here for it. It was related to a license agreement with ExxonMobil Research, and they say that multiple times in this Q3 2020 financial report. And gross loss and profit, again, negative $3.1 million in Q3 2020 versus $8 million in Q3 2019 here. So again, they've actually lost money instead of made money in the gross loss and profit here. This is something really good you want to see here. Their operating expenses decreased 16%. 7.6 million compared to 9 million, right? And their loss from operations has increased as well. And I don't see this being much of a problem because they are growing as a business and growing as an industry. I also wanted to show you guys this here, the cash and liquidity. So significant improvement in liquidity. So they have much more cash and cash equivalents. And this is what you want to see with a growing company as well, because you don't want them to be running low on cash, especially when they're still growing and they need to grow their operations in order to become profitable. All right, so I just want to show you guys the chart here quickly. So we can see this week we're up 102%, 106% basically in the last 5 days. In the last month, we're up 127%. I got into this stock a long time ago, guys. I was way back around sort of this point right here, and I've been dollar cost averaging down where I could since just a few weeks ago. I remember buying right here at the 1.8 mark. I bought more shares, and since then I haven't, but I do see it going higher than $5.30. Not now. I do see actually it coming down quite a bit from here, because with no news and nothing really that's driving this price up, I don't really see it going too much higher right now. I mean, even on the day here, we saw earlier at 10:45, it was up 17.45%, and I knew that it was coming down from there. It's just it was unsustainable, especially with no news, right? And we came back down, and although there was no news on the stock, there are some reasons why I see the run up here, and I'll get into that in a second, but I just wanted to share the EPS with you guys for a second as well. And I actually have that right here. So for Q3 2020, they reported a more negative EPS than they estimated. And for Q4, it's about the same. But what is kind of nice to see is, although they reported a much lower EPS here in Q2, the general trend is that it's coming down and becoming more positive here, which is what we want to see from a company like this. So let's just get into a few of the reasons now why I think this company is skyrocketed. So one of the main reasons I see for this big run up in fuel cell energy, as well as the other hydrogen stocks, and I mentioned this in my Plug Power video, so you can take a look at that, is because of rising oil prices because of this vaccine news. You see, hydrogen is basically seen as an alternative to oil. So the higher we see oil prices, the more attractive these hydrogen stocks and this hydrogen energy looks compared to oil. So the higher the oil prices go, the higher demand we're going to see in these hydrogen industry and in these hydrogen stocks. Another big reason for the run-up, I think, is because of sort of the large-scale stakeholders who are at play now, and sort of the investor interest in renewable energy stocks that we're seeing, especially from these bigger institutional investors who are starting to pick up these stocks. And that's one of the reasons we see a big run-up as well. New additions to renewable capacity worldwide have increased by 4% this year. So that means nearly 90% of this year's increase in total power capacity worldwide can be attributed to renewable energies. And I think that's another big reason why we're seeing this run up. So where do I see the stock going from here? Well, I mean, this big run up is pretty unsustainable, especially on no news. So I do see in the next few days, maybe, or on Monday, this stock coming down quite a bit. I do not see it going back down to 240 or 2.4. And that's just because of these big institutional investors picking it up, and because of these rising demand in oil prices, right? So I do see a bit of a pullback, and that's when you want to invest on the pullback. I could maybe see it going back down to the $4 mark. But any sort of rundown here will be a good time to invest, because in the future, I do see this stock being much higher than the $5.18 that the stock is at now. So do try and get into this on a bit of a drop. I wouldn't recommend buying it right at the point it is now, but soon, definitely on a pull down, I would recommend getting into this stock. I might buy more. We'll see what happens. I'm already quite heavy in this company, but I always like buying more shares in a company that's proven now successful. So that's going to do it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Again, it really helps out the channel, and it really lets me be able to make more videos for you guys and make this sort of a full-time thing. So thanks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.